Hey, everybody, it's Lori Goldman. Thanks for joining me today on For the Sake of the Argument. Terrence Martin, American Federation of Teachers Union President, was our guest today. We learned a lot. Biggest thing that we learned is I was right. Charter schools do not have to accept special education students. Just another nail in their coffin, I hope, because it's not fair and it doesn't give equal footing with other public school systems. But I want to talk a little bit about Terrence Martin. He was amazing, powerful. By the way, he does a podcast called, what's it called, guys? The Brown Couch Bruhs, BRUHZ. It's on YouTube, so you should check him out as well as all of mine. But you know what? We do this every week. I hope you listen. I hope you like it. But Jesus Christ, please, we got to start doing something. Don't listen to me. Go out and do something instead. But if you need the inspiration or my bad language, then listen. I'll try to inspire you to get up and do something. We are holding on by a thread. I need you. The world needs you. God bless and Godspeed. Terrence Martin, welcome today to For the Sake of the Argument. You serve as the president of the American Federation of Teachers, representing thousands of educators across Michigan school districts. How did you get into this role, and what made you want to lead this union? Because I know there are several.
Well, thanks for having me, first and foremost. But I grew up here in the city of Detroit, went to Detroit Public Schools, graduated from a Catholic school here in the city for high school, Benedictine High School. Went off to school. I was a halfway decent athlete, but went off to school and I went to college in Pennsylvania, played sports there. But my heart has always been—
What was your sport?
In Detroit. I played basketball, but my heart has always been in Detroit. Growing up, I had some great teachers who taught me all throughout school. And so it's always been a passion of mine to educate others. Went into teaching my first years in Detroit Public Schools. I really saw the disadvantages that we have, particularly in urban settings and in the school setting, and I wanted to do more. I wanted to do more for the kids that I taught each and every day. I wanted to do more for those communities in which they came from. So I really got into union work. I saw that as the path to really equalize things, if you will, and make things equitable for the children of the city of Detroit. Went on to serve in several roles at the Detroit Federation of Teachers, eventually being president there. And then when the opportunity presented itself here at AFT Michigan, I jumped on it. Thankful for those who came before me, particularly former President David Hecker, who obviously saw something in me and wanted to ensure that our union has solid leadership moving forward. So here I am.
You mentioned some challenges facing the Detroit Public Schools. Let's talk about that and Michigan as a whole. What are the biggest issues facing people that are running our schools today?
Well, I think, we have a lot of folks who are making decisions for schools that aren't educators, that don't know firsthand what it really takes to properly educate students and fund schools in a way that resources are ready available for students to be their optimal best. We have a resource problem. We don't have a education gap. We have a opportunity and resource gap in this state, and I think once we handle that and really tackle that in a serious way, I think you'll see Michigan schools go from toward the bottom, which they are today, to sort of moving them their way up to the top. We have some of the best educators around. Many states in this country come to Michigan to poach our people because our people are really good. Our educators are really good. And so at some point, we've got to really focus on the lack of resources in our schools so that we can keep our brightest and best here, both educators and students.
Part of those resources are teachers' salaries. They are abysmally low. What is the deal? What's holding salaries and resources back?
Yeah, it's a priority. We've got to prioritize teaching and learning in this state. We choose to prioritize other things over teaching and learning, and so therefore you see resources being spent in other places. As once Michigan decides that education is important and to put the dollars behind it and the resources behind it, you'll see better teacher salaries and you'll see a better product from our school system.
I can only imagine some of the resources that go elsewhere are going to help increase the bottom line for wealthy people and businesses and corporations and utilities that can help elected officials. Big reason to get money out of politics in my mind.
For sure.
So speaking of bad things, the Republican Party blames a lot of issues in education on the teachers' union. How do you respond to these direct, psycho, fucked up attacks?
Well, the attacks just keep coming. I think, if I remember correctly, there was a Time magazine cover where they blamed teachers for education being in such a bad space at the time. Teachers, the people who, when you sign up to do this work, knowing that you're not going to be paid top dollar, knowing that, you're not going to get rich, doing this job. And it's a very difficult undertaking. It's almost a calling. It's what I call it. I don't think people sign up to do this to make a whole lot of money. I think they sign up to do this because it's a calling up on their hearts to educate students and to educate some of our most vulnerable, particularly in places like Detroit. It's really difficult. It's really difficult work. And my response to those who attack educators is try to do it. Try a day in the life of an educator to try to teach children, knowing that you don't have all the resources that you need and that it's going to take all that you have to get a child to even achieve at the basic level of achievement. And so, try it out for a day or two, and I think they'll be singing a different tune. I mean, we tried that a few times when we've had folks in the Republican Party come and visit our schools, and it's really made a difference once they really saw the challenges that our teachers, our educators, and our students face each and every day just to get to school.
Yeah, it's crazy. My oldest is 28, and ever since she was in preschool, in Birmingham, nonetheless, public schools, I have had to help supplement with other parents the teachers' resources because they didn't have enough hankies or Kleenex or crayons. Right. I think that's a very vile thing in this country that we have to contribute and they have to contribute toward their own supplies to do a job that pays them in the bottom rungs. You make more money, I think, working at McDonald's sometimes. So we finally have an education budget in Lansing.
Yeah.
We know there had to be compromises to get there and to avoid a shutdown. So in terms of education, what slipped through the cracks? Give us the good and the bad.
Yeah, K-12 took some hits. There are a few less million to spend in K-12 education. Higher ed, there were some increases there, which hadn't happened in years, up to almost 3% of increase in higher ed. And so those are, some of the bare minimums of it. Knowing that we're going to have free and reduced lunch for children is key. So we're certainly happy that maintained itself. The per pupil spend is about what we anticipated it to be. So we know that districts are going to be able to maintain their operations as they did the previous year. But look, every year we're fighting over crumbs in the education budget. Every year it's Democrats versus Republicans. Every year it's schools versus roads. Take roads out and throw another, key thing that we need in this state in there. But, we're not getting where we really need to get to. There are states who are doing this at a better rate than we are, and have served to be models of how to properly fund education, and they've been successful at it. And we just simply have not taken that same tone here in the state of Michigan. So in my opinion, education shouldn't be something that you're pitted against in a budget. It should be something that is actually prioritized in a budget. And so we simply haven't done that. I commend our governor over the past few years, who's really, had increased budgets in education. But that came from years and years of divestment. And so she simply tried to bridge the gap and get us to catch up.
Right.
And so we have not exceeded where we should be in terms of an education spend in this state. We are far behind on how we resource education in this state. And I know some may look at it as an urban education issue. Oh, this is just Detroit. This is just places like Taylor. This is just Hamtramck. No, it's all over this state.
It is. It's in Birmingham and everywhere. My children had issues with education. One of the things people are putting their hopes in is union membership. It's seen a steady decline over the last several decades. What would you like to see done politically or otherwise to reverse this trend and empower workers?
Well, union membership has increased in AFT Michigan.
Oh, that's good news.
We are, no longer a teachers union. We are a teachers and healthcare union.
Well, congratulations.
We just welcomed in over the last, thank you. We just welcomed in over the last year over 5,000 healthcare workers, those allied healthcare workers. We sort of classify them as all those who aren't doctors or nurses. We represent those people, particularly at University of Michigan Hospital. So we've seen union density increase over the years. And I think, we can sort of thank our Republican counterparts, right? Because, many of them are the reason why union membership has increased. They've seen the threats and that have come with union membership over the years, and they saw the mistreatment that people have on their jobs and the fact that their lives aren't better if they're not in solidarity with their coworkers. They saw that what happens to you at your job sometimes happens to you in your life and seeps through your neighborhood and the community in which you live. And so if you want to be a part of change, if you want to be a part of making sure that your life is better at work and that your kid's life is better at school, and that you want to be in solidarity with people who have those same ideals, the union is the place to go. And thousands across the state, particularly in AFT Michigan, have saw that.
I think it's amazing. My great-grandparents, my grandparents, and many people I know were very proud union members, from the coal mines to the steel mills.
Yeah, it's the reason why I'm a union member and a union boss now, right?
Well,
both of my grandparents were UAW members, Local 600 respectively. So I get it honestly.
Well, thank you for your service. We're glad that you are. How does a strong teachers union make for a better education for students here in Michigan?
Well, when teachers are treated well and have voice in the workplace and are part of the decision-making process, then that is better for students. What's best for teachers is best for education. And I think we've seen that, when unions have been in partnership with school districts and universities, we've seen the outcomes much better when there's a level of commitment on both sides. And so in instances where we have great partnerships with education management and unions, we've seen successful districts and universities.
Who have been your best allies in your corner of the labor movement so far? And I guess you could also tell us who's been your biggest impediments.
Yeah, I mean, it's been our community groups that we've been partnering with. We are in coalition with the Michigan Education Justice Coalition. And it is a collection of grassroots, grass tops organizations that are committed to bettering education in this state. Groups like 482 Forward, the NAACP, all those groups that have really stood in the gap for children across this state, who have stepped up when resources were low, who have stepped up when there were threats of closing school districts, who have stepped up when they realized that educators were being attacked. These are the folks that we are in partnership with, and these are the folks that have really been allies for us. And all those who are against that have been an impediment to us, right? I mean, we see it in the White House right now, where we have a president who decides to sort of use his executive power to occupy cities across this state and really intimidate folks and stretch his power in a way to show or prove his dominance. But in reality, what he's really doing is galvanizing a group of people around a common interest and a common enemy and saying to folks, we've got to take back this country and preserve democracy. And so that is what the outcome is going to be in this country as a result of this sort of leadership.
Right now in Michigan, folks are out gathering signatures for a citizen-backed ballot initiative called Invest in My Kids. Yep. It would, in short, tax the 1% to help fund our public schools. Does the AFT endorse this ballot initiative?
Yeah, we certainly appreciate the efforts that are being made in this realm. We haven't made an official endorsement, but we've been in lockstep with the group that is putting this initiative on the ballot. Many of our locals are assisting and helping with ballot collection and ballot signatures. I myself am helping with ballot collection and getting those signatures. But it's really what I talked about earlier. You know, we've got to do something here in the state of Michigan that will transcend our education system, that will move us more to equitability in this state. And so really taxing the rich, and it's not everybody, obviously, it's a small percentage of folks, but it can make a huge difference for our education system here in the state. Resources obviously are going to be scarce, and having the additional $3 billion to spend on education is going to prevent the fight that we saw over the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks on a budget. And so, you know, again, our students should not be wedged against roads. Our students should not be wedged against other entities that, you know, are cramming for state dollars. It should really be held harmless in a way that ensures that our future is protected and funded properly.
This wasn't on our question list, but I'm going to ask you, was there a teacher that impacted your life in a substantial way? And can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, I've had so many that have impacted me in such a way. In my high school years, I had Mr. Oseki in my social studies
Where'd you go to high
classes.
school?
I went to Benedictine High School,
Okay.
who really got me really actively engaged and involved in the political process and history. I've had Miss Hill, my elementary school teacher in third grade, who, you know, really encouraged me to be more outspoken and to be, you know, sit in the front of the classroom and be, you know, be very proud of and happy to be in a school and being educated. I have so many who have been tremendous to me moving up. This is the reason why I'm in education today.
All right. Well, now we're going to hit the lightning round, and it's, I don't know, I think these are pretty interesting questions. I hope you can answer them all, or you're not going to be able to leave. What's something the average person might not know about what it's like working in Michigan schools? Can you give us a little insight into that?
Well, I think one of the things that people may not know, and I sort of mentioned this before, is that Michigan teachers are some of the best in the country. You know, I have the opportunity, you know, to travel the country quite a bit and to visit schools. And some of the very innovative things that Michigan teachers do in classrooms, the way they're able to connect to their students, the schools in the state that do a great job in their education programs, really catapult us to being some of the brightest and some of the best. Other states continuously poach our folks and try to get them to come to their school districts, and there's a reason for that. The reason is because our folks are very talented at what they do.
Name one budget line item that you'd boost tomorrow.
Special education.
Really?
Our special
Okay.
education system is underfunded in this state. We have some districts who have over a third of the student population who receive some form of specialized student services, whether that is social work, all the way to mentally, emotionally impaired students, to dyslexic students. It is extremely underfunded. We know that it's important for our students to be serviced from a holistic standpoint. And many of our students need that. They need the extra services, but many of our school districts simply don't have the funds to do so.
Hey, I have a question. I told you I was dangerous. I don't know what I think I know, but is it true that Michigan charter schools don't have to accept special education students?
Yeah, that is true. They have if they cannot service them, if they don't have the resources to service them, they don't have to accept those students. Many of those students are moved to traditional public schools where we are essentially underfunded as well. But we take those students. We have the folks who know how to educate those students. And so we do it. And we do it with a passion. That is like no other in many instances. You know, I've had the pleasure of working with many special ed teachers throughout my years of teaching and servicing as a union president. And I've seen the amazing work that they do in those classrooms, really preparing students, really putting their arms around students, loving students, and making sure that they are advancing in their lives. And so they've been, standing in the gap and have been tremendous help for our students.
Kind of makes you wonder what the charter schools are in it for, said sarcastically. All right, what's one mandate you ditch for teachers? Just make it gone.
Yes, testing. It's high stakes testing. It takes away from actual teaching and learning in classrooms when you have teachers who are simply preparing and forced to prepare for a standardized test.
Wow. Okay. That makes sense to me. What was your favorite subject in school and why?
It had to be social studies. I've always been fascinated, by history and by government, how things work, elections, things that have happened in other countries and other times that somehow show their faces today. And so comparing and contrasting different eras and times of our world has always been a fascination of mine.
Okay, now the most important, not really, I'm just kidding. Who are your picks to go to the Super Bowl?
All right, I've been waiting for this question the whole time. It's still kind of early to tell. I mean, only in week 5, week 6 of the NFL season. But I'll have to go with our hometown Detroit Lions coming out of the NFC to represent our conference. I think, if you look at the power rankings right now, they've got to be, no less than 3 behind Philadelphia and possibly, the LA Rams, who I think is a really tough team with our former quarterback, Matthew Stafford, at the helm. But the Lions are right there. I think, what they're building here is really a championship culture, and it could be this year.
Who do you think they're going to go up against?
Again, very early to tell, but I'm never going to bet against Pat Mahomes. Not until that guy's out of the league. So it could be Kansas City and Detroit in the Super Bowl, and I certainly like our chances.
You call it early, but Terrence Martin, isn't it your job as the AFT president to hope?
That is.
That's
it is.
right.
And to give hope.
That's right. And to
So
give hope.
I think that's very aspirational goal for us fans here who haven't seen a Super Bowl. At least I haven't seen a Super Bowl in my lifetime here in the city of Detroit. So it'll be an exciting time for us.
Well, I want to tell you, and I mean this with all my heart, it has been my honor and my privilege for you to take time to sit down with us today. And I respect you greatly for what you're doing, and Godspeed.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.